Good morning and welcome to Factotum Life. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. Today I am going to be starting our concrete project. I am going to be honest and upfront here. This is not a how to do it video. This is more probably going to be a how not to do it video. And the reason why I'm saying that with this preface is that I have never poured concrete. My wife has never poured concrete. I think we have the capability of learning, and we're going to be learning on our dime. So what we have gone ahead and done is we've purchased a power screed, and we've gone ahead and purchased all the equipment, because besides this pad that we're going to be pouring in front of the garage, we anticipate we're going to be pouring some other additional pads as time moves on. We're going to go outside, we're going to start excavating, we're going to build our forms, and we're going to get this process started. So I guess at the end of this, you'll have a good idea how it turned out. I wish I could tell you that, I'm confident and that it's going to turn out fantastic. But honestly, I think that the opposite is going to happen, and it's going to be somewhere in between reasonable and darn right ugly. Another analogy that I could use here is drywall. And over the years, I've done quite a bit of my own drywall work, and I've become reasonably proficient to where I'm happy with the quality of work that I am able to do with drywall. And this includes not a whole lot of additional sanding beyond the normal finishing work. I didn't wake up one day and all of a sudden become proficient and decent at drywalling. In fact, I remember how ugly my first drywalling job looked. So I'm going to take that experience and sort of go, you know what, I think concrete's a similar situation, but it's a different material. While I might be able to apply some of the principles that I've learned with drywall, concrete's an entirely different beast. Now, I've poured sonotubes, I've poured little tiny pads, and to be honest with you, I haven't been all that impressed with my skills on it. So that's where I'm coming to the conclusion that this could be darn right ugly. Without putting myself down too much here, let's get started. Let's get this formed up, and we'll see what happens.
Now! Let's get to this first. Hey! Why are you not coming out? How about you? So don't break her siding. That's the last thing we want, to chip a hole in our siding. That snake went down. Too bad there's... How long has that bike been up there? Like, Dad, how has it not overheated? How has it not starved? That thing is like, was it born?
What?
Is there electrical up there?
No. Oh, way up there is, but... Okay, we're about done for the night, and basically what we're doing is we're going to have a 4.5-inch slab, and that's represented with our forms that we've assembled on the outside. I have the slope for movement away from the garage, heading in the direction that we need, and we did it on this side too. So really now the only thing that is left is I suspected we needed to excavate some amount of gravel in here, and I wanted to kind of get an idea of how much I had to go down. So I ran a diagonal string line across, and basically in the center there we're about we need to go down another 2 inches of getting the gravel down. I do have some gravel over there, and as you can see, we need to put some gravel in place over there to kind of level it out so that we don't have concrete spilling out the bottom. So a little bit more of the excavating work done that needs to be done. This is actually my first time actually doing this, so I would argue that I'm probably really not all that proficient in operating and eyeing up what needs to be done as far as the earthwork goes. I suspected we were a little bit high in the middle with material, and the only reason I didn't dig down more was because I didn't want to dig more than I needed to. So I wanted to at least get these side frames assembled, put in place. We ran a string line from our pin all the way to the garage, and basically am working on centering up these boards. I only have 4 pins left here, so that will be enough to center out our backboard once I get all the excavation work done. And then I still need to buy about 8 more of our welded wire mesh. So we'll do that, and then I'll get some more rebar to cut apart for pins. And then once the welded wire mesh is in place, then we'll be set. So hopefully we'll be close to getting this done tomorrow. A little bit more excavation work, a little bit more assembly work, and then we'll just double check and make sure everything is where we need it. I'm sort of hoping that I don't have too much of a side-to-side direction of this pad. I want it on the same plane. I don't want it skewing one direction or the other. I'd rather just have it all. Right now we're going downhill towards the east, and that's what I want. So we'll verify once we get our boards up that from side to side we're pretty level, but based on just kind of the bubble level, we're getting close. We're dropping about 1 inch every 8 feet. I didn't want to go any more than that because I still would like to kind of retain a little bit of a basketball court. So I think this is heading in the right direction.
And the hose that. And you can start now. I am moving away. Dad, you can start that.
It is a beautiful day outside, and this is the day before our pour. We have scheduled our concrete for 8 a.m. on Monday, and as you can see behind me, we have our finished pad. We've done all the prep work. Basically what we have here is we have a 4.5 inch slab or formwork, 20 by 24, welded wire mesh, elevated with random pieces of concrete with old rebar mixed in. We generally have a fairly flat surface. There is a little bit of deviation from here to here, but for the most part, it will be anywhere from 4.5 to 4.75 inches thick. The concrete that we have ordered is 4,500 PSI. We ordered a slump of 5 inches, and let's see what else. We have air entrainment, no water reducer. So this is my first pour, and no pressure, obviously, no pressure, but this is, you know, definitely something that I've wanted to accomplish at least. We'll probably find out real quick here tomorrow whether this is something that I'll be doing any further, but I did go out on a limb here, and we have purchased all of our own equipment. So what we have here, this is a power screed with, it's basically a tomahawk with the Honda power head, a 8-inch bar. We've never used this. I set it up. I probably will have a separate video depending on how it turned out of the unboxing of this and setting it up. But this is hopefully going to be a big help, especially considering this pour that we are doing behind me is only going to be done with 2 people, myself and my wife. Our kids will be here watching, although they're not going to be helping specifically with the actual pour. The other items that we bought here, we've got a bull float. We have a nice twisty coupler here. I have about 18 feet of rod. We've got 2 rakes for 2 people. This I already own. This is our Screed. I'm going to be using, this is about 80 inches or 79 inches long. This is going to be for making our wet pads. And the wet pads are what our Screed is going to essentially be riding on. I've cheated a little bit here, and there is a level in the middle, but I have taped or affixed some line levels to each end of this Screed. Now this is a little bit thinner. It's not as thick as the Screeds you would maybe see a concrete contractor using. So we'll see how well this works. I'm hopeful that it works well enough for us. But beyond that, we've got a 1-inch cutter. This is going to be for cutting our joints into place. And then we have edging tools. And then finally, we have our broom finish. So the plan is we are going to wet cure this. We have the time this week. Everyone's going to be off on vacation. So after first few hours, we'll wet down the concrete. We'll cover it with plastic. And we'll continue to cover it and water it down throughout the week until we, get past, I think, 7-day mark or whatever the case may be. I'm hopeful that we're able to accomplish this. I think, I guess if I didn't have the confidence, I wouldn't have spent the, $1,500 to $1,600. So just to follow up, what we have with our pad is we have a 4.5 inch depth. I used 1x6s that are nominally 3/4 by 5.5, I believe. I cut them down to 4.5 inches. I ended up staking all of the formwork with 3/8 rod. I cut the rod to 16-inch lengths, and then we just basically, I drove it in. Some of the pieces I used copper plumbing retainers so that it can't get pushed in or bumped by mistake. We have marks here now. So this stake right here, these orange stakes, signify the location of where we're going to create our wet pads. I have screws right now along with marker that signify where our joints are going to be. So the lengthwise here, we have joints every 80 inches. And then on the width, which is 24 feet wide, a lot of people are going to have their opinions on whether that's too many or too few. But for me, that is what I decided to go with. Okay, so there you have it. This is our quick run through on what we have going on with this project.
can you do? I need you to take pictures.
Start doing a wet patch.
Is he leaving?
Over there, right?
Yeah. Get this far quick.
Is he cleaning his tube, Dad? With water down there?
Yeah. Right.
You don't need to Miles. I need you to just hang on to that. That's super important. That tells us how deep we are. Okay? Yep. Come on, Zero.
Do you guys need me to come out there or not? I see how deep we are.
So,
Yep. Why do you hand me that trowel again? Here. Careful the end. Thank you.
You don't need me to come out.
Nope. I need you to hold this.
What do I do, guys? I have nothing.
You'll be okay, my. Are you taking pictures for me?
No, it's only over here. I wish I could help you. I have nothing to do.
You know what you can do?
What?
Miles and Ed. Walk. Put that in the green bucket.
I'm not doing it.
I'm trying to get it like under and in this corner again.
Then what?
Okay, now, Miles, take that little trowel that Ed had. Ed, you can take mine that's leaning up against. Go get the edge over there in that corner over there, okay?
What? Where?
In that corner where Daddy is. Miles, you help.
just go along the edges.
Where do I need help? Do I
Go
need
by Dad.
Daddy,
Help
help?
get him in the edge.
Daddy, there? Daddy, oh.
Miles, if you get that, you want to get that little trowel? You okay, bud? You want clear ones? Go get clear ones.
Oh, we got low spot here. Representing. We need a little bit of concrete over here. There's.
You need to drag it. It's high, right here. See right there?
Oh yes.
Drag it. Okay, now, no, you gotta get clear on top. Walk around and get your clear ones. Good, Ed.
I left a little concrete.
All right.
And then get the clear one, and then you see that other thing?
That just.
Get your clear one. Yes, but you have to get your clear. Because you have concrete by your eye, and that's not good. Get your clear.
Here, let me see that. Let me see that. Thank you.
It's okay, my Mike. There's clear ones right here. They're clean behind the paper towel. How's it looking?
Good, actually.
Am I doing it
Those
correct?
are brand new. They're all set.
Excavation. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. We'll have to bolt load everything. guys, make room.
these imperfections, because at the end of the day,
The driveway slab,
and it's better than what we had.
right?
I feel like there's one little spot right there.
Yeah, I'll bring the trowel over here. It's just, I'm trying to keep you from getting heat stroke.
We are on day 5 of our concrete pour, and as you can see here in the background, what we have going on is we are wet curing this slab. So I didn't do any sort of sealer or curing product on it. I just simply started spraying it down about hour 6, and then began to sort of just maintain that wetness. And then in the meantime, what I ended up doing was I bought 4 mil plastic to cover it, but to keep it from discoloring, I ended up putting down some weed barrier fabric, which was kind of nice because it also helps maintain a little bit of moisture into the water, and it lets water pass through. And then we just covered it with this plastic. So that is how we've been wet curing our slab for the last 5 days. We're going to go to day 7, which will be Sunday, go ahead and remove this plastic. Overall, I would say overall the entire slab was about 90%. It's not perfect. And we're going to be taking a quick look at the driveway that we had poured back in the late summer of 2021. I thought this would be a fantastic opportunity to see how the driveway has performed as far as cracking or unexpected problems that may have occurred in the nearly 3 years that this driveway has existed. So here we are today, February 2nd. We're finishing up our 3rd winter. Overall, I'm actually fairly happy with the performance of it. Now that we're almost 3 years into it, 2.5, and we've had almost 3 winters under a performance belt, I am actually happy with the performance of this driveway. Because of the driveway, there aren't any cracks besides where we cut the expansion joints.